Now, first of all, let me say this. I was born and raised in Clearwater, and this community has never been off the beaten path. We are a live and vivid community. Yes, we finally got some money that we deserve with our CRA, and they're working hard. But my question is that if you would be elected mayor, what would you do to help bring our community up with countryside, the beach? Because we deserve it. We have been disenfranchised for many years, and it's time that we get our due. So what if you as a mayor, what would you personally do? And I don't want you to refer back to CRA. I want you to say, what would you as a mayor personally do?
Well, personally, Diane, I would join in shoulder to shoulder and work on work with different committees and organizations. You have the Treasure of Arts for Life. You have the Clearwater Urban Leadership Coalition. You will have soon seated a CRA advisory board. Those people, that's an important position to have. And the people who serve on that CRA advisory board really need to be champions in the voice of the community. We need to encourage people to attend those advisory board meetings of the CRA for North Greenwood, so that we can really understand, what do you envision? What do you want? What are the priorities? How can we work together? How can we be realistic about the money and the pacing and just collaborate? And I will be at that table with you if it's a comfort level. I don't want to micromanage, but certainly I think people in this room know that I roll up my sleeves and I am there during the meetings and listening and fully engaged as much as I can. I don't live here, but to me that's exciting, and I look forward to it.
Well, I guess I need to clarify what I mean by off the beaten path. I mean, what I mean by that is you don't have Gulf to Bay running through your neighborhood. The average person to get east, west, north, south does not have to drive through North Greenwood to get somewhere. That's what I meant by off the beaten path. And that could be a good thing. If you live along Gulf to Bay, you might say to yourself, well, we don't want that through our neighborhood. What I would tell you is, and I think it's largely, I don't know if you read the Tampa Bay Times recommendation of me for mayor, but largely they felt like that I could bring public-private partnership, outside investment into Clearwater to help revitalize the entire city, including North Greenwood. We can't tax our own residents enough to do things with strictly our own city public dollars. I don't think most of you in here in this room want your taxes raised. So we've got to cooperate with county, state, federal programs, and we've got to have some public-private partnerships. We've got to convince folks to believe in Clearwater, not just North Greenwood, but all parts of Clearwater, and believe that they can do really good things here and be successful. Remember, I went to a program at the rec center. Councilmember Becker was there too, and there was a gentleman there talking about bringing it was a food desert here, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to bring a grocery store to North Greenwood." And he said, before you know it, you're going to have your own Publix. And you all said, "No, we don't want Publix," because the Publix is just not the kind of grocery store to most people. And I only go in there, I go to the neighborhood Walmart that's over here. But his point was that he had the connections to the resources from outside of Clearwater to bring in here and make that kind of investment to make the entire community, including North Greenwood, better. And that's what we've got to go out there and get. That's not going to fall in our lap. We've got to pursue it.
Thank you.
Back to the question that Grandma had over there. About 2 weeks, Parks and Recreation are going to open registration for summer camp, so that's a big deal. Generally, Pinellas County Schools offers summer bridge or something for part of the day. But the other thing that's very serious that probably most people don't know is that the state of Florida said no thank you to the federal funds to feed children this summer. And many children have breakfast, lunch, and if they stay after school for the after-school program, have dinner before they come home. What can the city of Clearwater, partnering with Pinellas County Schools, feed children breakfast and lunch this summer? Which is, it is almost March, so we don't have much time. So it'll start in June after Memorial Day weekend.
Well, once again, programs like that, we just need to tackle issues like that collaboratively with state and county government. If the state's not gonna help us, then we need to find solutions for the county and the city. I know, last year, I went over to a program over at Ross Norton Rec Center where I don't know who was providing the food for the kids, but they were providing a meal for the kids at lunchtime during the summer there. So I don't know who sponsored that program, I'll find out. And
It was probably the program, it was part of the COVID relief program.
yeah.
And the state had the opportunity to continue that funding, but they said they didn't want the funding.
Yeah. Well, we need to take care of kids. You're absolutely right. And we need to find, if we gotta be creative to find ways to do that and collaborate, then we gotta be creative and find ways to do it.
Well, I agree, first of all, I fault the state of Florida for turning down that money to feed our children during the summer. There is no excuse for that, absolutely no excuse. I'm part of the Clearwater Community Women's Club, and we are raising money to get another food bank in a public school, because now we have food banks in public schools, because children and families don't have enough to eat. I think I would, what I wanted to let you know is that by being your council member out in the community, what I've done is I discover different pockets of people doing great things. And you should know that there's 360 Eats, which is Cameron McLeish and his mom, who gather older food and grocery stores, and they bring it together, and she's a gourmet cook, and they provide free gourmet meals to this community, to 3 different locations in Clearwater. I helped them get a grant. I wrote a grant recommendation so they could get a grant for this food truck where they distribute this free gourmet food. Also, we've got an organization located in the Lake Bellevue Committee called Lots of Blessings. I think her first name is, forget, Heather. I profiled her in my newsletter, but anyway, working to provide food for children who don't have enough.
Thank you. Good afternoon. Couple questions for you. First one, I want to direct this one at,
You can't direct.
well, both.
I gotta go.
Okay, more so. You indicated that you have the endorsement of the fraternities and now Tampa Times, correct? What do you see those endorsements having to be paid back that you as a mayor would actually having to do to make sure that the influence that they're sharing with you are influences that they're going to get?
Well, I did not receive those endorsements from the FOP or the Tampa Bay Times or firefighters. I thought that I had a good interview with the FOP, the police. We talked about a lot of important things. They know I'm a champion for workforce housing to help keep our police in the city. I have had all the votes I've taken on council. I would challenge them to say we're not in favor of what they asked for. And so, I can't speak for them about why they chose not to endorse me, but they chose not to endorse me. The firefighters, I will tell you, the story with that one is the invitation went to the spam folder of my campaign file and did not know about that. It was a little unfortunate that they didn't follow up with me because I've never ignored the leadership of the firefighters, but they didn't. That's okay. But I will tell you that there is, again, I'm proud, I talked about why I'm proud of the endorsements that I've received. The ones that I've not received are really tied to people who have been in power for decades here. And when I was first elected, the last thing I said at a forum was, if you want something different, you need to vote for something different. And clearly I'm different. And I'm proud of being different, it's okay. I certainly ask a lot of questions. I'm proud of the accomplishments that this council has made, and I've put forward a number of them. But that makes people uneasy. People who have been in control, and people who have a majority on that council. And they're holding on, they're fighting tooth and nail to have that continued representation. And I think that's what you're seeing with the endorsements.
Thank you. Bruce?
So I mentioned those two, but I've been endorsed by the business community at Clearpac. I've been endorsed by the Pinellas Realtors Organization. I've been endorsed by the Associated Building Contractors. Tampa Bay Times, which I mentioned. I think 19 currently serving elected officials in Pinellas County. Some of those elected officials I have personal relationships with them, so I've known them for years. So collectively, nobody makes a deal there's no quid pro quo. It's about relationships, and it's about their confidence in me to pull people together, including the people in this room, including people who we may not agree tonight. You may not vote for me, but after the election, to pull people together to make our community thrive. And they all, after interviewing, I guess there was one where Kathleen didn't participate in the interviews, but collectively, after looking at me, after looking at other candidates, they decided that they have the confidence in me to lead this community forward. And primarily to pull people together. We've got to pull together to make Clearwater successful.
Thank you.
Greetings, my name is Denise. I'm not sure if you got my letter, but I sent you a letter. Because I'm tired of the nonsense too, that I get. This is your third flyer. All of them are nonsense and untrue. I'm not done. I have a question.
Folks,
I have a
I've got a stack of letters from you and other folks there. I know you're on my opponent's
Okay,
campaign
I'm not
team,
done
so-
with my question, if I could, forgive me, sir. So one of the items on here states about her inefficient resources of spending money, whatever, but it says we need to fix our sidewalks, traffic congestion, and prioritize public safety, which she wants to do with the changing of Drew Street, and you oppose. So I would like to know, since she wants to do that, why you oppose, even though there are studies that would say Drew Street would be better off with modifying it. There would be no negative impact with the other adjacent roadways. Why do you oppose it?
Okay, that's the question. This is about Drew Street. I oppose it because the people of Clearwater oppose it. The people of Clearwater oppose it. The people of
You gotta
Clearwater.
let him give his answer.
And it's because we have surveyed the community more than once. And I have been door to door. Within the last 10 days, I've spoken with 2 folks who live within 100 feet of Drew Street. They oppose it. And why? Because regardless of what the experts say, they do not believe that by going from 4 lanes to 3, it will not affect traffic congestion, and it will make that street safer and Gulf Bay Street safer. They think that, so regardless of what the experts say, the people of Clearwater, a lot of elderly people use Gulf to Bay, local residents use it frequently to go up and down. They just do not believe that. It defies practical sense in their minds. So I want to do what the people want us to do, and I understand that there are folks that feel fairly strongly about that issue, but I can tell you, because we have surveyed the community more than once, the people of Clearwater do not like that proposal. Do they want to make Drew Street safer? Yes. Are they incredibly concerned about the negative impact of going from 4 lanes to 3? Absolutely. And they're concerned in part because fire and police only have 2 east-west connectors to get up and down in a hurry if they have to. And to the extent that now they drop from 1 4-lane east-west connector, from 2 to 1, they really are concerned that fire and police will be able to get them, if something happens on Gulf to Bay, get to them quickly enough. So I know folks that like that proposal don't want to hear it, but I can tell you we have talked and talked and talked and talked and talked with people throughout Clearwater, and it is overwhelmingly unpopular.
Thank you.
I hope you would elect a mayor who listens to data and science and experts, who honors study after study after study. We asked for another study last year. Now we have the results and people don't respect them. I respect the results. I don't know who they are and who are they talking to. That's really nebulous up there. You mentioned 2 people. I don't know. And I think the point is, you said everybody, we do want Drew to be safer. No one has come up with any alternative plan. And if you're ready to walk away from $12 million of federal funds to make that street safe for about 1.5 miles from Keene to Osceola, please give me your epiphany of how you're going to do that and where you're going to get the money to do it. People have talked about this and asked the city for this for over 7 years. We have had community meeting after community meeting after community meeting. There have not been people lined up to say, please don't do this, I don't want it. And the study confirms that our public safety vehicles are going to have appropriate response times. So that, thing that you're pulling out of the air is not based in science or fact. You want somebody who's going to operate with data and facts and numbers and be able to explain to you why I'm making the decision. That's me. If you've got somebody who just says, residents just tell me, or it's in their gut, I don't believe it. Might be what the study shows, that it's only going to add 1 car per 1.5 minutes. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I wouldn't vote for somebody like that.
All right, so we'll just keep going the way you've been going. I don't know, unless, do you?
There's the study right here, it says exactly what Kathleen's saying.
I came here tonight to talk to folks.
All right.
Like I said,
I got you.
I didn't come here to argue, and I love the folks in this community. We may agree or disagree on issues. I just hope at some point Clearwater can agree to disagree, and let's be neighbors, and let's work together as a community to make this community better.
All right, so.
And I didn't come here to fight, to have a hot, contested debate, to argue with my opponent's campaign supporters. Many of you have written me letters. I've got a stack of them. Some of them not so nice, but we've kept them. And I understand you're not a fan of me, or you're not a fan of my campaign. But I came here tonight just to talk to people about the needs of your neighborhood and to try to understand your neighborhood better, and try to understand our community better, so that if I do get elected, I can serve better.
Okay, so do you want that to be your close? I was gonna let each of you have a closing. So Kathleen, if you was almost 70, you know how I am.
I appreciate that as a former teacher, that when, the bell rings at 6 o'clock or 7 o'clock, Zeb's like, we're starting on time. I've always appreciated that. I love being in this community. I love working in this community. I love working throughout Clearwater, especially where I'm invited. I'm invited here a lot, and it feels good. I will tell you that, somebody who has it in their heart to serve and ran 4 years ago serves in whatever way they can. And I've been privileged and honored to serve as your council member, and I think I've done a really good job. I'm not perfect, but I've worked really hard. And, come March 19th in the evening after 8 o'clock or March 20th, if I'm serving as your mayor, I'll be thrilled, I'll be excited, I want to work with you and continue that work. If it's not me who's mayor, the work continues. I get to choose special little things. It doesn't have to be everything. And that's okay too. And I look forward to that. So when it's in your heart, the work continues. And it's not, you know, it's about, this is the community that I chose to live in or that I happen to be living in, whether my husband's work took us there, whatever. It's the people you surround yourself with. You just care about humanity. And I think, you know, that's who you want to serve. And it'd be a privilege, it's been a privilege to serve you. It truly, truly has. I've learned something every day. And I look forward to continuing that. And I just want to say thank you. And I hope we'll work together on March 20th regardless.
All right, thank you. Thank you to the candidates for coming out. Let me also thank you all for sticking in Not Robbery to come out and hang out with us and talk about who the next mayor is going to be, because elections matter. And I think if we look in the news, we can see that more than anything, where, you know, the Crown Act is now being dissipated in Texas. So, you know, elections do matter, and it starts on a local basis first. Before we leave, let me thank the Pinellas County African American Museum for allowing us to be here. Our neighbors with Indivisible Pinellas. If you need voter registration, if you want to help people register to vote, talk to Mike. He has some packets, and it's just a QR code for the people that need to register, to check the registration and all that good stuff. I'm sure Mike will be in the back. What else? Thank you to Alpha Phi Alpha Fraternity Incorporated for allowing me to do this. And my brothers for showing up. And everybody have a safe drive home. Hope your homes are better when you get there than they were when you left. All right? All right. Everybody have a good evening.
Thanks, sir.
And the candidates will hang out for a minute, I'm sure, to talk.
Somebody.